What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Final Whistle. I'm Dan Europe, joined alongside my guy, as always, Nathan Osler. Nate, we got a good show today. We've got a March Madness preview, then get into some MLB opening day, Thursday, right?
Yep.
It's Thursday. Stacked slate of games, but we'll get into that a little later. Let's hop right into March Madness. We're now at the Sweet 16. Nate, how's your bracket look?
Let me pull up my percentages. It's funny. Let's see here. I have two.
Mm-hmm.
The one I tried the hardest in is doing the best, of course, 70%. The one that was a joke at first that was doing well, like after the first day, is now at like 17%.
Okay.
But both my champions are still alive, Florida and Michigan.
See,
So
I don't know how to see my challenge.
all you have to do is go to your
I see it. Oh, I'm at 82%.
not bad.
Ranked 4,000,002. I'm in second place in my one bracket, and in third place I'm getting cooked.
Bro, there's a couple of these celebrity brackets, a bunch of
They're
these
tough,
ESPN
yeah.
people, 99.9%.
Courtney Cronin.
Yeah, she was at 100, I think, before the last day. It's like ranked one.
Dick Vitale. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's solid.
Go to the bottom.
Let's
Victoria Allen.
I mean, there has yeah 10%. Wow. She had Kansas winning. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it. It's been chalk so far, right? There hasn't been a lot of upsets, but Nate, I don't hate this. I'd like seeing the best team prevail. Upsets are cool, sure. I would have liked to see my Grand Canyon beat Maryland, but that sadly didn't happen. That's the one that cooked me. But like I'm happy Duke hasn't lost. Kentucky, like I'm happy those big dogs haven't fallen off it because I want to see them match up in the Final Four. And we're getting some of these matchups in the Sweet 16, like Kentucky, Tennessee is going to be a really good game. But yeah, our brackets are cooked. But it's been great, Nate. What's been your favorite game you've watched so far this March?
So far there's been a couple games that have kind of stuck out to me, and I like how you said it's not really a bracket busted type of tournament. Just because it hasn't been upset heavy. People are upset about it. I'm not. I thought it's been a great tournament, and that just shows how top heavy this tournament is. This is this year's March Madness is not the March Madness of previous years where you're like seeing a Yale go to like far in the tournament, Princeton going far. You're not seeing a St. Peter's. It's funny, Danny, the Cinderella of this tournament, you could say, is Arkansas, and they're an SEC school. They're number 10 right now. They're I think the lowest seed remaining out of all these schools. The only other teams that would have been the funny Cinderellas were Colorado State, which lost on a buzzer beater. They almost beat Maryland. That would have been cool. Drake lost by 10 plus to Texas Tech last round. Your favorite school on earth, McNeese, got murdered by Purdue. So your guy Amir Khan is gone. Other than that, I mean, it's just a bunch of 1-5 Auburn, Michigan, 6v2. 1v4, 3v10, 3v2, 1v4, 6v2, 1v4. So the biggest Cinderella, honestly, is Arkansas right now. But let me just say, I really liked the end of the Arkansas-St. John's game. St. John's was coming back. Arkansas, they have one of the best coaches in college basketball. They were able to win that game. I also like the ending of UConn, Florida. I turned it on because I went on Twitter and people were saying, Florida's going to blow it. Then right when I turn it on, they come back, of course. So that's my fault, all you UConn fans. Dan Hurley, he was complaining about the refs, of course. I know they've already won 2 championships in a row, but he was, of course, really upset about the referees. There was a quote. I forget the team that was going on after them. He was like, hopefully they treat you guys better or whatever it was. I was like, of course. And Dan Hurley gets a lot of slack. I mean, he just won 2 national championships in a row. Sure, he's not going to win 3 in a row. Great coach, but I completely understand the hate. But like other than that, I mean, there's been a couple good games. I know there's been some games that have flown under the radar. Arizona, Oregon, I didn't watch. I heard it was a good game. BYU, Wisconsin, great game. BYU upsets Wisconsin. Alabama took care of St. Mary's. That was probably I honestly had St. Mary's losing to Vandy. I think both of us did. But other than that, I mean, like I said, like as both have said, this has not been a upset heavy tournament, which honestly could be good because it could be good for a sport, and it's kind of showing the era of the NIL might be affecting this with how many SEC schools you have never, like, I think there's 14 total SEC teams that made the tournament. When's the last time we've seen that? The SEC went from a conference in basketball that was not well known for basketball, and then it's kind of flip-flopped. It used to be ACC was the top dog. This year, the ACC only has, I think, one school left with Duke, and then the other 2 or 3 were already eliminated. The SEC is running rampage. You got Kentucky, Tennessee. You have Alabama still there. That's 3. Auburn, 4. Ole Miss, 5. Florida, 6. And Arkansas, 7. 7 SEC schools are left in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, the SEC has just been dominant this year. Short NIL, but again, it's just players want to go to an SEC school. The days of the ACC, the other conferences, the Big 12 dominating college basketball, the Villanovas, those type of schools, the Syracuses, even UNC now is going downhill. They just don't have the. I mean, UNC probably does, and Duke does, but you look at a school like Pitt, they're never going to be able to compete with an SEC school on getting in a recruit. And if I'm a recruit, I'm a 5-star recruit. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'll take $3 million to go play at Arkansas over Pitt, a team that I've always wanted to go to, or another school. It's just NIL has ruined that type of camaraderie in college sports of kids. Kind of now you have to go somewhere with money if you're good. There's no way Cooper Flagg's not choosing a big school just because they're going to pay him the most money.
It's also the way to get more eyes on you going into the you said, would you choose Arkansas or Pitt? If you want to play in the next level, you go to Arkansas because more scouts are going to go make sure catch up on SEC schools and all that. But yeah, with the NIL, this is all I have to say about it. I'm fine with I get why they have it because college athletes want paid and all that makes sense because you want your likeness, you want to build a brand and all that. My thing with it that's kind of ruining the sport is college sports in general. We already had this whole debate with football, and James Franklin, I actually kind of agreed with as much as we both hate Penn State. One of his players was going to sit out or wasn't going to play in the bowl or what playoff game it was. I think it was their second string QB because he got an offer somewhere else. College sports are becoming free agency. That's all it is. And then you have all these coaches coming out say you shouldn't be able to do it before playoffs. You shouldn't be able to there should be a set window after the season is over, before spring ball or during spring ball, so you can just go to your next school or whatever. The thing, I understand why they have it. I think it's going to be fixed pretty soon because I think a lot of people are starting to see it's maybe it is ruining a little bit of the aspect. I completely get the understanding of it. And the fact that the matter is you see Adrian, you have Woj, former writer, being a general manager for a college basketball team, St. Bonaventure, his alma mater. We're in the era that college basketball and college sports have to rely on GMs. You would think the general manager of a college program would just be the athletic director, usually. The people that are giving out scholarships, the coaches. Now they're actually signing managers or GMs to deal with all this NIL money, try to build the best team possible. I get it. But honestly, that's not the case standpoint for this Sweet 16 overall, though. I'm really excited for some of these matchups. You want to get into it?
Going into the Sweet 16 that will be played on Thursday. We got BYU, Bama, Maryland, Florida, Arizona, Duke, Arkansas, Texas Tech, and then the next day is Ole Miss, Michigan State, Kentucky, Tennessee, Michigan, Auburn, Purdue, Houston. All right, Nate, let's start up top. BYU, Bama. I know in my bracket I have BYU beating Alabama, but Bama's look damn good. I'll tell you what. Let me see if I can enlarge this game. Yeah,
you can pull up the bracket too.
BYU beat Wisconsin barely, and Wisconsin was a good team, but they also have been playing pretty bad in my opinion. I did not like what I saw to Wisconsin throughout the tournament, and they beat them. So
yeah, are you going Bama?
My head says Bama, right?
Okay.
I should take Bama. I'm going to take BYU just because that's what's in my bracket, and I think that Bama is not cut out for March.
That is fair.
And I mean, the spread's 5.5, so it's Bama's heavily favored in March.
I think for this one, I am going to go Alabama just because they looked like a much more complete basketball team against St. Mary's rather than RMU. I think they fixed the mentality in March Madness should just be survive in advance. You can't really just hamper a team for a poor performance in round one against a subpar program compared to them.
Bama's
but
good,
I think
too.
Alabama fixed a lot that they needed to fix in round one, and they beat RMU only by 9 points, 90-81. They beat St. Mary's 80-66. It looked more like Alabama, honestly. So I think they are looking more on the upward trajectory right now. I have them beating BYU.
I think it just depends on if Mark Sears shows up and decides he wants to play basketball. And if he does, if him and Grant Nelson are healthy, man, they can win a national championship easily.
Yep.
All right, next game. Let's go to Maryland, Florida. I really don't even have. This is going to be Florida. This is. I don't love what I saw from Maryland. I just didn't. Queen was really good. He's their best player. He's a freshman from Baltimore, but no, you can't stop Florida right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Florida. I'm gonna go Florida, and I'll give Colorado State props. They almost were in this game. It came down to a call that was a travel, was it not? My takeaway was the comparison of coaches. It was really funny. They played different interviews. Hurley was all angry, and then the Colorado State coach was like, "You know what? It happens. I didn't watch it yet." The mentality is different. But yeah, props to Colorado State. But I got Florida beating Maryland. But you know what? I wouldn't be shocked if Maryland keeps it close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like many people are expecting. But I got Florida.
Angel Reese's brothers on the team.
Schools. Yeah,
I know you're an Angel Reese fan.
Oh no, not at all.
All right, this is, in my opinion, the game of the Sweet 16. This is the best game in the Sweet 16. Duke versus Arizona. Nate, this is the game that on my bracket I circled and I said, listen, this is the game. If Duke wins this game, I think they have a cakewalk to the national championship. And they could very easily lose this game. Arizona is a scrappy ball club. Duke is favored by 10.5 points. I will tell you what, I will be on Arizona plus 9.5 because when Love is hot, he makes every shot. He's an unbelievable shot creator. He was on UNC. He was really good at UNC, transferred to Arizona, and now he's cooking it. But man, it's tough to stop Cooper Love. Not Cooper Love, Cooper Flagg. Duke's gonna win this game, but it's gonna be closer than people think. I'm taking Duke. I think Duke's more unstoppable than Florida is right now.
Yeah, that's fair. When I'm looking at their quad of the bracket, Duke whooped Mount St. Mary's, and then you're kind of like, oh, they didn't really play anyone yet. Then they played Baylor, who had Baylor Mississippi State. Round one was awesome. They beat Baylor then 89-66, and people were like, oh, that's going to be a closer game than you think. Duke said, no, shut up. We're going to whoop these guys. Then they get Arizona this round. Arizona coming off an 87-83 former Pac-12 matchup against Oregon.
Yeah.
And then they whooped Akron in round one. Honestly, I would not be surprised if this is the upset. I would not be surprised, like you said, that Duke could fall this round. A 1 seed has to fall soon. Yeah. And I think there is a great possibility it is going to happen in this round.
This is just very possible.
Just because each of them are playing a 5 seed or higher. Auburn's playing Michigan. Duke's playing Arizona. You have Florida, Maryland, Houston, Purdue. The 1 seeds this year compared to the previous years aren't playing your 13s, your 12s, your 9s, your 8s in this round. You know what? I picked Duke in my normal bracket or whatever. I'm going to be different. I'm going to go Arizona here. I say Duke.
I like that pick.
I say Duke could be the first one to fall. I think there could be multiple 1 seeds to fall in this round, by the way.
Arizona's a very good ball club. I like what I see out of them. Arkansas, Texas Tech. I'm gonna go with Arkansas.
I'm gonna be brief with this. I'm going Arkansas. I like how they're playing, and it's funny how I said they're kind of the Cinderella of this run just based off their seed. I could see them going pretty far.
Ole Miss, Michigan State. I think Michigan State's gonna win this by a lot. 3.5 is. I love that. I'll take that all day.
I like Michigan State as well.
All right, Kentucky, Tennessee. Obviously, I'm draped in Kentucky stuff right now, so I think I have to go Kentucky. I also have this in my bracket. I think Kentucky played unbelievable in their last game. Tennessee, I didn't see anything that stuck out to me crazy after what I saw from them beating Wofford and UCLA. Kentucky's win versus Illinois was really fun to watch. Owe, I think is how you say his name, was really fun to watch. And when Kentucky's hot, they're one of the best teams in the nation, easily. Like not even close. Easily one of the best teams in the nation when they're hot. But when they're cold, and they are cold, it's like it's night and day with this Kentucky team from what I've seen so far. But I'm gonna go with Kentucky to beat Tennessee here, another upset.
Yeah, and the thing with Tennessee is we had people, I think Nevin and Nicholas were in the chat basically saying Tennessee could be upset round 1 by Wofford. That was the team.
Crazy.
I am taking Kentucky. I think this is a different Kentucky than we've seen years prior. I think they look completely better in those last tournament teams that were upset round 1. So I'm picking the Wildcats.
All right. Michigan, Auburn. I'm going Auburn. I think this is going to be 8.5. There's a crazy spread, but I might take that. I think Auburn's going to put Delta Michigan. But Michigan has 2 7-footers, and 7-footers, we've seen it before. You look at UCF back in 2017 with Taco Fall. That really wasn't that great of a UCF ball club, but they had a 7-footer, and so that's why they won, is because there was no stopping Taco Fall. So if Auburn can't put up with Michigan's size, then I think they'll struggle a lot more. But I do think that Auburn will come away with this win.
I'm going to go different. I'm going Michigan, just because they looked completely better against Texas A&M. That looked like a better Michigan team than what we saw against UC San Diego. And you brought up the 2 7-footers, and I also want to set up Michigan State in the Elite Eight right here. I think this is a game that I think a lot of people want to see, but I could totally see Auburn whooping them. But I am going to take the Wolverines. So I have 2 1s going down right now in this round.
Yeah, I'm going with Auburn. All right, Purdue, Houston. I don't think Purdue's good at all. They've had kind of a cakewalk.
Yeah, you want to know it's funny? I had Gonzaga going far. Houston shut me right up. I thought Gonzaga could have done it, but I'm picking Houston here.
Yeah, Purdue's had such a cakewalk. I think they're going to get smoked.
High Point and McNeese.
Smoked. They're going to get smoked. All right. Well, that's our Sweet 16, I guess. Oh my God. When's the national championship?
Yeah, I was looking at that the other day. I hate how long we have to wait. It's like, yeah, we have 2 games Thursday and Friday.
Are we serious?
And then they don't play for a while after that.
Till when?
Let's see here. For some reason, it's not letting me click.
April? March Madness in April?
Yeah, it's weird.
What?
Yeah. Okay, so the
April 9th?
Elite 8 is March 29th to 30th, it looks like. Final 4 is April 5th. Championship April 7th.
That's crazy. We gotta wait that long? That's crazy. That's crazy. Has it always been like that? Where you gotta wait that long?
They gotta travel to, like, I think Indianapolis, probably where they are.
Okay, that's a one-day endeavor. All right, nonetheless. I'm
excited though.
Yeah, that was our college basketball preview, our Sweet 16 preview. Let's hop in now to Major League Baseball starting Thursday, we will have MLB. We will be having Sweet 16. It will be a great day for sports on this Thursday. So a few days. We're kind of in a hiatus right now, Nate. Spring training wraps up today, and for baseball, but you see it right there. MLB is back.
Mm-hmm.
I know we kind of briefly talked a little bit about the MLB the other day, but JJ came on and we kind of got derailed there. So yeah, let's head into the MLB. This is going to be a fun season, Nate. I've never been more into the MLB in my life than I am right now in this season. I always follow the Pirates. I've always been like a Pirates fan, but just them being horrible has just it hurts. But now I think I can watch Pirate games for $1. I keep seeing an ad on Sportsnet.
Yeah, I saw that too. It's like $1 for the first month, and it's $17.99.
Yeah, I might
just use the crack Scream sites.
Yeah, I might have to just make a new account every month. But yeah, let's get into it. So, I mean, we got our Pirates, but you want
to start in the AL?
Let's start we're going to go through predictions in division predictions, winner of every division, maybe a sleeper, and then we'll get into awards, World Series, yada yada yada. Just our preview. Let's start in the AL. Nate.
Okay.
AL East. This is a slept on stacked division, and we are.
Mhm.
Do you remember the days when it was Tampa and the Blue Jays at the top of this division, and now it is literally the opposite. The Blue Jays and the Rays. The Rays are the worst team in this division, I think, easily. The Red Sox have gotten a lot better this year with the addition of an Alex Bregman. The Orioles are so young, but they've got a stacked roster. The Yankees will use their credit card and be one of the best teams in the MLB as always. They have five or four former MVPs. They have Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, Paul Goldschmidt, and Cody Bellinger. And I think they might even have another MVP.
Yeah, sadly, Stanton's going to be out for a while, though.
Yeah. So they have a lot of MVPs, former MVPs, Paul Goldschmidt, Bellinger, Judge, all of them. They added a few after the loss of Juan Soto. But do you see I think this is a two-way monster in the division. It's the Yankees or the Orioles. It's a toss-up. Who wins this division, Nate, in your opinion?
I don't think it's just a two-way race. For some reason, a lot of people are riding with the Red Sox, not to win the division, but they have a solid chance.
They'll be solid
because they did a lot this offseason that I really liked. I was talking with JJ about this last night over on his channel. With the Rays and Blue Jays, this division could go any way. The Rays are by far the weakest team, but the Rays are always the most pesky team. They will always find a way to finish 500 or better. The Blue Jays last year underperformed the heck out of their expectations. Every year I fall for the Blue Jays being a wild card team. Half their team underperformed. Bo Bichette underperformed. Vlad Jr. underperformed for the first couple months. Now Vlad Jr. is playing for a contract extension. He's playing to showcase himself for free agency next offseason, which he's going to be the big $500 million guy next offseason. Blue Jay or not. So I could totally see the Blue Jays having a winning record and causing chaos. However, I am picking the Yankees, but I don't think the Orioles did enough to fix their team. Just because their rotation, in my opinion, is not good. They could have done a lot more. They just got new ownership. They look very competitive. They have a nice lineup. I mean, you got Colton Cowser, you called up, Adley Rushman, Jordan Westbrook. It's very young. They added Tyler O'Neill, all these other guys. Of course, you have Jackson Holiday. Hopefully, he figures that out as well. Pitching-wise, their ace right now is Zach Eflin. They signed Charlie Morton, who's 41 years old. He's pitcher number 2. Dean Kramer. Then their other big addition for the pitching staff was a Japanese pitcher who's 35 and has never pitched in the major leagues, Tomoyuki Sugano and Cade Povich. Other than that, they let Corbin Burns leave. They weren't able to re-sign him. He goes to the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Get the odds up here.
Yeah, with the Orioles, I mean, plus 310, and that's probably why they are the third best odds. Because what the Red Sox did, let me go to them really quick. They did a lot more. They added a Garrett Crochet. They traded almost a bunch of their top prospects for him, which I thought the Red Sox were already a great fit enough for him. They are a team that could honestly extend him, which he wants. Yeah. They signed Walker Buehler from the Dodgers. He leaves LA. I thought he was going to be a career Dodger. He goes to Boston. He said he wants to finish his career there. They brought in 2 solid relievers. Former Pirate Aroldis Chapman they bring in very early. Justin Wilson they brought in. They have a lineup with Devers, Bregman, Tristan Casas is 50-50. He's healthy. Jarren Duran. Maybe you have rookie sensation Christian Campbell in the rookie of the year conversation this year. Bottom of the order isn't bad at all. If I order it, it goes Yankees, Reds. It might just go like that. Or honestly, the Rays could finish last over the Blue Jays because it's Blue Jays or Rays.
Odds.
Just because, like I said, the Rays every year are just pesky. They find a way to do things. The Blue Jays, however, could shock the world and be completely better than last year. Because they stole Anthony Santander from the Orioles, their power hitting outfielder. I think he's going to thrive in Toronto. All of these teams honestly have a chance to be a playoff team. But if I go order-wise, long-winded answer, it probably stays like that. Honestly.
See,
maybe flip-flop Toronto, Tampa.
I go Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox, Blue Jays, Rays.
And that's completely fair. This is a great division. Yeah. I know the Rays just lost their ace for a while, Shane McClanahan. He just had Tommy John last year, I think it was, and he's going to be missing the first portion of the season, it looks like. So that's a big blow for Tampa, playing in a minor league ballpark, by the way. They can't help it, though.
All right, next division. Let's go Minnesota. This is the AL Central. Minnesota, Detroit, Cleveland, Royals, and the White Sox.
You taking the plus 28,000?
Yeah. What are your thoughts here on this division? I think this is I can't believe that the Royals are right here. I think they can win this division easily.
So they did a lot last offseason. They, of course, made it out of a playoff round where they shocked the Orioles. Orioles just couldn't win a game. The Tigers also shocked the world and had a late season comeback. When I look at this division, the AL Central went from one of the worst divisions in the sport to one of the surprisingly most competitive, with 4 of the 5 teams being competitive. The Twins are the favorite. The thing about the Twins I don't trust is their health. Every year, Byron Buxton misses a lot of games, which they need him to be healthy. Royce Lewis, one of their best players, is already hurt and the season didn't start yet. And he's one of the most underrated players in the sport. So when I look at this division, I'm going to be crazy here. I have Detroit winning it just because I really like Tarek Skubal. I really like them calling up Jackson Jobe. I like a lot of these other guys. I have Cleveland, number 2. Kansas City, number 3, Minnesota 4, Chicago 5. I could totally see Kansas City and Minnesota tying, however. The wild card is going to be a very jumbled big mess. I think, honestly, there's a chance only one of these teams make the playoffs because of how stacked the AL East is. So they're going to have to win a lot of games. Whoever wins this division, however, is set, but I have Detroit winning it.
Yeah, I like Detroit's pitching staff with Tarek Skubal. Minnesota's always just a sneaky team, but again, Cleveland is sneaky as well. Kansas City, though, Nate, I love what Bobby Witt brings to the table. I could see them making some sort of move at the deadline.
MVP candidate.
Yeah, and I love it. But the White Sox are just terrible. Now? Let me ask you this: what do the Royals need to do to win this division?
The Royals honestly don't need to do a lot because let me pull up their fan graphs really quick. Their rotation is amazing. It's awesome. Cole Reagan, Cy Young candidate. They bring in Seth Lugo, Michael Wacha last offseason in 2023. Chris Bubich and Michael Lorenzen. Solid. What I don't really like about the Royals is the bottom portion of their lineup. You have Jonathan India, who they traded for the Reds. We all know him and hate him. If you're a Pirates fan, he killed us. But he is a very solid baseball player. He's going to be their designated hitter. Bobby Witt Jr., MVP candidate, of course, predicted a 7 WAR, by the way. Vinny Pasquantino, hopefully he stays healthy because he can be a beast. I think they call him the Sasquatch. Salvador Perez, love him. Great catcher, solid veteran.
He's always Salvador Perez is always going to be good. He's ancient.
Yeah. He's turning 35, and he was just in a home run derby a few years ago.
Sure.
This is what you want to be if you are a major league catcher. Usually catchers fall off the face of the earth. They're usually not a primary hitting first position. Salvador Perez does it both. He is what you want to be. Now, what scares me with the Royals is kind of the bottom portion. So Michael Massey's probably on the border of that. He only has like 2 years of service time, so he's a newer guy. Then it's the bottom. Hunter Renfroe, MJ Melendez hasn't really been all that, but maybe he has the breakout. Michael Garcia is kind of but it's weird with him, projected a 684 OPS, but a 2.4 WAR. So they have him being a very oddball player. And then Kyle Isbell batting 9th, and he's also maybe They could have done a little bit more, but the Royals, small market team, but at least they extended Bobby Witt Jr. to a massive deal. So who knows? Maybe the Pirates do that with Paul Skeens. Probably not. But yeah, the Royals, they could easily do it. But yeah,
I like their value there. And in this division, they're telling you, it's a full toss-up. It is a 4-way race. And then there's the White Sox. You've got the Twins, Tigers, Guardians, Royals, and then there's hell. And then there is a complete pile of trash and filth. And then there's the Chicago White Sox, right?
Now,
Nate, did this team get better at all by any sense, by any margin? Did the White Sox improve to where they are not going to be the worst team ever like they were last year? They were the worst team ever.
Now, I was going to ask you if you think they're going to break their own record or not, because I think the Marlins and Rockies might give them a run for their money. Mm-hmm. Now, the White Sox, they did some stuff this offseason. It was just bringing in a bunch of vets who can't get other places. Like, for example, Remember Michael A. Taylor last year on the Pirates? Yeah. He's a White Sox now. They brought in Travis Jankowski, non-roster invitee, Jacob Amaya, who is on the Baltimore Orioles waiver wire, a couple other guys that were free agents to know, like Nick Maton, Austin Slater, Matt Thaiss. Like it says they purchased Thaiss off the Cubs back in December. Pitching wise, they brought in to be their number 2 guy, and he was projected as their ace for a while. Bucko last year's 5 starter, Martin Perez.
Oh my God.
So he's their pitcher number 2.
I hated him.
Honestly, though, I don't think they're going to be as bad as last year. They could be, however, but the thing is, like, my thing with the White Sox is how long is Luis Robert Jr. still on the team?
Yeah.
Man, I would love the Pirates to trade for Luis Robert Jr. It could totally happen. They have the money. He's a cheaper player. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a strikeout machine.
Outfielders. I don't want Tommy Pham. We'll get
no, Tommy Pham was sickening. All right, let's
move on.
Let's go to the AL West here. The Astros, Rangers, Mariners, Angels, and then the Athletics. Look at the Athletics. They don't even have. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this.
They don't have a stadium.
Hold on. I can expect it. Can you see this on my screen?
Kind of.
Oh, hold on.
I don't think the Athletics are going to be that awful, though.
Ready?
Yeah, let's see it.
Boom.
I don't see it.
I changed their name to the Oakland Athletics.
Oh, you did?
Instead of the regular Athletics.
Let's go.
Because that's back. How it should be, damn it.
They are back.
All right, so Houston, Texas, Seattle Angels, and the now new, thanks to the inspect element, Oakland Athletics. Nate, this is a crapshoot of a division, I think, in my opinion. This is a bunch of just less than mid teams, and then I don't even think the Astros are going to be that good this year. I mean, Jordan Alvarez is amazing. Jeremy Pena, I really liked what I've seen from him. He's a young stud. And then you got Jose Altuve. You move him to the outfield. How does moving a guy like Jose Altuve into the outfield? He's 5'4". He's a wee little.
Have a big wall behind him too.
Yeah, like what does that do for the Astros? And do you think that losing Bregman is going to affect them a lot?
They also lost Kyle Tucker
to the Cubs. Yes, they did. I forgot.
Now, I'll say this about the Astros. I actually have them winning the division because they never go away.
They do.
The Astros, I loved the trade package they got for Kyle Tucker because a certain third baseman by the name of Isaac Paredes, who the Cubs traded for last year from the Rays, he is a pull hitter guy. If you go to his, it's called Baseball Savant, you look at his advanced analytics there, it shows his hit chart, projected hit chart or whatever from last year. You can put it over Minute Maid Park or whatever. I think it's called Dankin Park now.
Mm-hmm.
You put his hits from last year over there, he would have I think 10 or 15 more homers. This guy is going to rake at that park because he is a pull hitter. He pulls it to left field, and it's a very short left field there.
Yeah.
And he can elevate a baseball. The Astros, I think, will be fine. They always somehow have a guy that throws a no-hitter. They had one last year. I like the rotation. The 1 through 3 is solid. Maybe the back half's kind of scary. They still have Josh Hader, Brian Abreu. I like that bullpen. The team that I like as a sleeper team, though, to maybe make some noise is the Texas Rangers. Last year, they had the World Series hangover. This year, they literally added every free agent reliever you can imagine. There's only one guy in this bullpen projected that wasn't on the team. Was on the team last year. They brought in Chris Martin, Robert Garcia, Luke Jackson, Jacob Webb, Hobie Milner, Sean Armstrong, and Patrick Murphy. 7 relievers added to the team. They also brought in Jock Peterson, Jake Berger they traded for. Kevin Pillar is on the bench. He was supposed to retire, but he's back. I know you a big Kevin Pillar guy.
That's my guy.
And then Kyle Higashioka they signed to be a backup catcher. They did a lot more than what the Astros were doing. The Astros kind of bought and sold at the same time. But I had the Rangers finishing second, Mariners third. They just didn't do enough. I compare the Mariners to the Pittsburgh Pirates in the aspect of great pitching rotation, awful lineup, in my opinion. They did not do enough. The Mariners have more stars. I'll even throw the Reds into that conversation. Great pitching rotations, not enough star power. The Mariners cannot rely on the likes of Julio, Randy Arozarena, and honestly Kyle Raleigh, who's their number 3 guy right now. You think of the Pirates and Reds. They can't just get carried by Ellie De La Cruz, Matt McLean, Brian Reynolds, O'Neill Cruz. They need more. They didn't do enough. And I'm putting the A's over the Angels. The A's were forced to spend money. But I mean, I like Lawrence Butler a lot. I like Brent Rooker a lot. I know Mason Miller's from around here. I like him a lot too.
Yeah.
And the Angels, poor Mike Trout, man. That's all I have to say about that. They should trade him.
I mean,
free him.
But where would you trade a guy like Mike Trout to, Nate?
Sadly, he's probably going to go to the Phillies.
Why? Because he's from the Delco area, right?
They also have money to spend.
They do, but I mean,
they need an outfielder.
That would break baseball. I actually do like that. I've never seen. I mean, maybe I'm living under a bridge, but I've never seen that brought up before.
Who, the Phillies?
To land Mike Trout.
No, it's funny. He's like the most popular trade destination because the Phillies just make sense. He's from the area. He would probably want to play for kind of the hometown team because I think he's from Jersey. I think South Jersey. But the thing with the Phillies, I think they would like him in the outfield more so than a Brandon Marsh, more so than a Nick Castellanos or Kyle Schwarber. But he would be a great bat to add if he stays healthy. But that's all I got with them.
And then the Rangers, do you think let's look at a team like the Rangers and a guy like Kumar Rocker. I mean, we can get to him when we get to
the Vandy boys.
When we can get to the awards, but a guy like Kumar Rocker, do you think that he brings any change to this Texas team? I mean, do you remember? I swear to God, I was in high school whenever Kumar Rocker was supposed to be getting drafted and supposed to be this stud, right? And then would he get drafted to the Mets?
Yeah, then they saw something in his physical.
Yeah, and he got and then he
went back to school.
He died. Yeah,
well, good for him though. He made it to the league faster.
Yeah, he actually did. But yeah,
him and Jack Leiter was special.
Let's go down to the. Do we miss anything? We cover the Mariners.
Oh yeah, I talked about them briefly. Okay. That's why I was saying they remind me of the Pirates and Reds.
Now, I do want to briefly talk about with Sacramento now. The Sacramento.
No, just the Athletics. They don't.
Yeah, just the Athletics. That they don't
no affiliations.
Man, have you seen their new stadium?
Yeah, they play at the home of the Sacramento River Cats, I think.
I mean, man, aren't they now? I was just in Vegas 2 weeks ago, and I saw where they were building the stadium. Nate,
isn't it where the Tropicana was?
It is right across from the OYO, and it is. There's nothing there. It is a plot of land, and there's just a bunch of piles of dirt. Because I looked through the fence, they have the little fences. There's nothing there, but it's a huge plot of land. It's right near the MGM. If you've ever been there,
yep.
And yeah, you've been to Vegas,
yep.
But there's no way in hell that this stadium is ready. But before next year, there's no way.
No, it's not next year. 2028. It's still a while. Yeah, they're not moving for a while.
So they're going to be playing in a minor league ballpark until 2028. That is so sad. That's ridiculous. I mean, they should have at least stayed in Oakland for another year or two.
Hey, I think the new stadium is going to have a resort too on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Have you seen the mock for it? Let's see if I can pull it up here.
It looks pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I mean, Vegas will probably sell it out just because Vegas is kind of a tourist trap with their sports team. They do have some diehards. When you think of the Vegas Golden Knights have a good fan base, but whenever you think about it, you have the Vegas Raiders. It's always more away fans. When the Steelers were there, do you remember watching that game? It was nothing but terrible towels. When the Yankees or the Dodgers go to town, and when the Dodgers or Yankees visit Las Vegas for the first time, it's gonna be all Dodgers guys. Honestly.
Let's see if we can get a mock-up for the stadium. It might be hard to find it here, but yeah, there's a resort. Let's see here. I can pull it up here. Just haven't said. This is what we have for that. It's nothing crazy, Nate. But I mean, you see this is where the MGM is. And this whole plot of land is just dirt right now. There's nothing there. But
I mean, it's a great mock.
It is. It's fire. So yeah, let's move on to the NL. I know we have our guest coming on here shortly, so whenever he joins,
we're getting a spike in viewership too.
Oh yeah.
Welcome everyone here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Final whistle.
Big time. All right, Braves. This is the best division. Is this the best division in the MLB?
Oh yeah,
by far? Easily. This is a tank of a division. the NL East, I know you call it the NL Beast. This is a tough division, Nate. The Braves, Phillies, Mets, Nationals, and Marlins.
Yeah, it's really good.
What do we like here? Because I know we got a lot of Mets fans that are going to be tuning in now. But yeah, all right, let's bring
Sorry,
in
Mets fans, you're not going to like this.
Let's bring in our guest. Let's see if we can get it. Everybody, welcome my dear friend, Mike. What's going on, Mike? We got to see if we can get that banner out of the way.
Yeah, we're good.
What's
going on, Mike? We're talking. We already covered the AL. I don't know if you want to give us your 3 division winners for the AL here, but we're jumping into the NL. So if you want to just give us quickly our AL East, who you got, Mike?
I hate to say it, but it's still the Yankees.
Yankees? All right. We know you're a Mets fan. Twins, Tigers, Guardians, and Royals, White Sox.
That's a toss-up. That's disgusting division.
Gross.
Give me Detroit.
I like
that. I went with Kansas City. I think that they're one piece away from winning that division.
Those odds are crazy. Very close.
They are. And then there's just a fall off into hell. And then you got the White Sox.
Yeah, Detroit wants to win. These other teams, like, they all didn't spend anything.
Yeah.
So I'll give it to them. They deserve it.
All right. Astros, Rangers, Mariners, Angels, and then the Athletics.
I think Houston's run is over. Jacob deGrom back.
Yeah.
It all depends on health, but I like Texas.
That's what I went to. I went with Texas. All right. All caught up now. This is tough. This is a toss-up. And I know where you're going to go, Mike. Nate, I know, Nate, you're not a big Mets guy. And you know me, I've favored the Mets before in other years. The Phillies are good, but man, Juan Soto, Nate, where do we fall here?
So if I'm ordering the division really quick, this is what I got personally. I got Phillies, Braves, Mets, Nationals, Marlins. My thing with the Mets I don't trust right now is their pitching staff. I know a lot of people are hyping it up. Projected wise, the number 1 guy is Clay Holmes, who was a reliever last year. That scares me a little bit. I know Sean Manaea, really good. He's on the IL right now. Hopefully he's back soon. Frankie Montas, I didn't really like that signing much just because he gets hurt all the time. We saw it last year. The Reds signed him. They traded him off. He had some injury issues. I mean, it's a risk. I don't like the contract he got. But however, the thing about the Mets I do like is the lineup. However, I like the lineup of the Phillies and the Braves personally a lot more. And honestly, the Phillies pitching staff, that's why I'm taking them to win this.
Really?
It is a great rotation, one of the best in baseball. They traded for a guy to get it better. Right now, Zach Wheeler, Cy Young candidate. They traded for Jesus Luzardo, who is very solid with the Miami Marlins. And for some reason, the Phillies love to trade with the Marlins. They got JT Realmuto from them. They get Jesus Luzardo from them. Aaron Nola, kind of a Cy Young candidate. He's always going to be decent. Christopher Sanchez had a great year last year. And Taijuan Walker's right now starter number 5. Maybe they can get another starter, however, maybe to replace Walker, put him back in the bullpen. And then the Braves are always going to be the Braves. I mean, Acuna's coming back middle of the season or so. They still got Olsen. They still have all those guys. They have a great rotation as well. Also, keep an eye on Spencer Schwellenbach, very underrated starter. He's not really the name a lot of people know, but he's taken the world by storm. He was kind of overshadowed by like the other rookie phenoms last year, of course.
Sure.
But the Braves have a pretty nice squad. I mean, this could go any way with these top 3. I think all 3 are going to be playoff teams. It's just determining who is the team that's going to be the wild cards and who is the team going to win it all. But I got the Phillies, Braves, Mets in that order.
Mike?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of true statements there. I actually like Atlanta to win the division.
Wow.
I just, they've got the big 3, Sale, Schwellenbach. I mean, Strider when he's back. Their offense took a step back, so it's hard to know, like, if to the 2023 offense or the 2024 offense. I think the offense will be better. I love their pitching. I just still think they have the most talent personally. I think the Phillies have some holes. And I agree with the Mets rotation. I'm a Mets fan, but I think Clay Holmes will be really good. I think they might get some solid starts out of some guys, but I just think that, like, if you look at those 3 teams, the biggest hole on any of them is the Mets rotation, probably. So
I agree with you, Mike.
But it can go anyway. Like
the Mets rotation it's subpar, right?
Right
I mean,
now.
Nate, we had JJ on the other day, and he said that the Mets had a better rotation than the Pirates.
I mean, with Jared Jones being out, I guess you can argue
Depends.
it now.
I
But the thing with the Pirates, what they have is great depth, and
Sure.
they have Paul Skeens too, and that kind of clears everything.
Yeah,
That's like
So-
3 pitchers in one.
Yeah, of
every
course.
year, every single year this happens where the Mets start off terrible, and then after the All-Star game, they win like 40 in a row, and then make the wild card game or win the division. That's what's going to happen this year. And the Mets aren't going to win this division, but they're going to go to the they're going to go after the All-Star break. They're going to make a push, make a wild card. They're not going to win this division though. I'm going with the Phillies. I think they're so well-rounded, man. And the Braves are good as well, but their pitching staff carries, and I think the Phillies are just way more well-rounded. And Harper is always going to be an MVP candidate in the NL. So I'm going to go with the Fighting Phillies here.
And you brought it up too about the Mets as well being subpar for kind of the first half. It was literally last mid-season that there were thoughts about trading Pete Alonso away, and then they just completely turned the season around.
Big re-signing for the Mets, huge.
Oh yeah, I
really
was
like
happy.
that.
He needs to be. I think he's a career Met. I think it just made sense for him to stay there. He's their power guy. I'm happy they were able to keep him because personally, I don't really like the Mets that much. I mean, that's just my fandom right there. But like, it was good of the Mets keeping them. Now, the thing about the Mets that scares me might be a little bit the bottom half of the lineup too.
Yeah.
We got Luis Torrens right now taking over for Francisco Alvarez until he's back. Brett Beatty's been hit or miss with Mets fans. I just see on social media. Jose Siri, they did trade for it, which is weird. They have him at a 1.6 projected WAR with a 664 projected OPS. He's very fast, but it's like, what can he do in that 7th spot? And then Jesse Winker, 30. Yeah, and then Jesse Winker, 31 years old. He had an okay year last year. I'm not really a big Jesse Winker fan. I don't know what it is.
I like
He's
Jesse.
It's entertaining. It's all that matters.
He's fun.
Sometimes.
He's fun. I was bought in to him whenever he started trying to start fights. That was tough. But I like that out of him. All right, let's
a great
go on
division.
to our division, Nate. The NL Central Division, the Cubs, Brewers, Reds, Buccos, and the Cardinals.
Welcome to the toilet division.
This is hell.
Very true. One playoff team.
Yeah, one playoff team.
hell.
That's it.
And I'm shocked to see the Cubs in favorite here, especially at these odds, plus 115. Basically,
well,
saying
they did
that
the most.
They did do the most, but
Kyle
but
Tucker.
they're the Cubs. They're the Cubs. They did their starting rotation. I like. They picked up Kyle Tucker, who's a big piece and will help them. I like their outfield. They have a good outfield, but I just don't think that this is a team that wins this division. I like Milwaukee. I think Cincinnati can be sneaky, but they're so overrated. And then there's the Pirates, and then there's the Cardinals. And the Pirates, we're gonna finish last, right? There's no way. There's no.
I don't think so.
Who do you think? The Reds?
Cardinals.
But the Cardinals always find a way, man. They always find a way.
The thing.
Cardinals aren't trying to win though.
This division,
They got rid of Goldschmidt.
honestly, if everything clicks right for certain teams, it could finish any way possible. Because I think honestly, all these teams have a slim chance to do something crazy. Because last year the Cardinals were supposed to be awful. They had a winning record. They finished ahead of the Pirates and the Reds. It makes no sense. All these teams usually struggle against the Cardinals. That's where they get their wins. With this, like, I get where you're going with the Brewers. The Cubs just did the most. They brought in Kyle Tucker. They made another trade for Alex Presley, Ryan Presley, that is, who was the Astros reliever. So they were popular trade partners with the Astros all offseason. They signed Matthew Boyd. I personally didn't like that contract they gave him. It was a little bit of an overpay. I mean, you already got 2 great starters. You have 2 now Cy Young candidates. They have Justin Steele and Shota Imanaga. Shota's awesome. Justin Steele, very underrated. They literally brought in an entire new bench. Carson Kelly, Justin Turner. He's a great veteran. He's still good at age 40. John Birdie, Gage Workman is what it is. And then, like, the only major addition they made in the lineup was Kyle Tucker. But honestly, that's the best addition they could have made. Yeah. The Cubs like to act like they're poor, which I don't get that mentality.
Yeah, they act like they're small market, and they're not.
They're the Cubs. If there's a Chicago team that's the small market, it's the White Sox right now. They're not going to spend the money. The Cubs have the money, and I hate how their ownership just acts like they have none of it. I see their fans all the time complain about this on social media. It's like, we're the Chicago Cubs. We should be the headliners of this division, every single year of our existence, and then our ownership just says, nah, we don't want to spend money. We don't have the money. They clearly have it. They're one of the most profitable brands in Major League Baseball. But yeah, and then the Milwaukee Brewers, they'll go number 2. They're always involved. They turn their pitching staff. It's a pitching factory. Whenever I look at it, they brought in Nestor Cortez from the Yankees for Devin Williams. They lose a massive bullpen arm, one of the best relievers in the sport, but they bring in Nestor Cortez, who honestly I honestly see having a resurgence in Milwaukee.
Really?
They turn any pitcher into a stud. Honestly, it makes no sense. Like, we're Pirates fans. We go to I call it the House of Horrors. Anytime like a team goes to Milwaukee, random pitchers. There is I forget the name of him. It was either Gray, I think was the last name, Josiah Gray or whatever it was. He would always kill the Pirates. Like, no, it's only the Pirates and the Reds he kills. Like, they turn random guys into beasts.
Yeah.
3 and 4 could go any way. I honestly have right now Pirates, Reds in that order, and then the Cardinals. Just because of this, the Pirates and Reds I see are the exact same team. They both have amazing pitching staffs. I brought this up when we talked about the Mariners.
I wouldn't say the Reds have an amazing pitching staff.
I think Hunter Green, he's a really good pitcher, very underrated. They have a very solid rotation in my opinion. Right now they got Hunter Green, Brady Singer they traded for, Nick Lodolo, Nick Martinez, and Carson Spires right now. They also had a guy with the last Spencer Steer got hurt. He of course is one of their better hitters. Rhett Lauder's hurt right now, very young starter. Other than that, I mean, the Pirates, they're literally the Pirates of Ohio. They don't spend enough money. They both have a freak of nature. O'Neill, Ellie, great rotations. It goes any other way.
Mike, I want to hear what you have to say here about this division, because this is such a toss-up. Give us a little bit of a breakdown and let us know.
Yeah, I like Milwaukee. Like you said, they just push pitching. They're one of those teams. Freddie Peralta's a little overrated to me, but he's got good stuff. Brandon Woodruff, he should be back very early on. He's going to be a little behind, but he should be back quick. When he was last healthy, I mean, he was their ace. Nestor's solid. The home road splits weren't great with the Yankees, so it'll be interesting to see how he pitches now with, Milwaukee being his home park. And then you got, Jackson Chirio's awesome. Yelich is back. They've got a lot of solid pieces. The bullpen's still going to be good, even without Devin Williams. I love Trevor McGill, who's their new closer. The Reds are solid. The Pirates are solid, but those teams just don't do enough, in my opinion. And then
I agree.
The Cubs are solid, but I think the Brewers sitting there at plus 270 when the teams are probably pretty close.
I love it.
It's tempting.
When I look at the Brewers, man, it's just a super solid team. The Cubs are going to have lots of games. They're going to have stretches where they lose 4 in a row, and the Brewers just never do that. They're so solid.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next division. Unfortunately, Pirates are just not going to do anything. I know it sucks for us, but all right, this is it right here. Is there minus 800 in this division? Is the Dodgers? We really don't even have to cover this, but this is what I like to call just the wild card division. You
could have some wild card teams in there, yeah.
This is
probably at least one, yeah.
I mean, look at the Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Giants. Then there's hell, and there's the Rockies to win this division. But this is the Dodgers, obviously. So I don't even think we need to talk about the Dodgers. I think we're all obviously taking the Dodgers. I think they could lose 2 of their all-stars with ACL injuries, and they're still going to win this division. It is. First of all, it's a lock.
If you're not taking the Dodgers, tell me what you know.
Yeah,
exactly. Now, Mike, when you look at a team like Arizona, I'm really impressed by this team, and I think they did a lot to surpass a team like the Padres. And the Giants are also a sneaky team as well, but to make a little bit of a push. I know they upgraded a little bit, but what do you see in this division, Mike?
I really like Arizona. I mean, their rotation, it truly does go 5 solid arms. They don't have a weakness in there. Brandon Pfaadt, who is their number 5 now and had to fight just to get in the rotation, is he's really not a number 5. I'm not going to say he's a 1 or 2, but he's probably a 4, on most teams. And then they have Ryan Nelson, who, he destroyed in the second half. He was a top 10, 15 pitcher in the second half last year. He's pitching out of the bullpen. They go 60 if they want. They lose Christian Walker, but Pavin Smith is an intriguing piece. They traded for Josh Naylor. So I think they covered that up pretty fine. Like I think this is a good team. I think they should be a playoff team more than San Diego for sure.
I'm excited to see what Corbin Carroll will do this year as well.
Oh yeah.
He's always can be explosive, but then he can also fall off a cliff, as we saw. But he can give you 25 home runs at his best
steals
in the year in steals. He's super underrated. You look at a guy like Corbin Carroll. I'm a fan of him. I know he had a kind of a down year last year, but I'm I'm looking for a big upswing in Corbin Carroll's year this year.
I mean, if he does, he's an MVP candidate.
Exactly.
With all the stuff he does, like he could be worth a lot of WAR.
Yep.
Yeah. Nate, you're going Chalk Dodgers here as well. I know we all are,
I have the division going exactly in this order.
Really? Okay.
Dodgers, D-backs, Padres, Giants, Rockies.
All right. Do we want to hop into some awards here?
I like this
30-30 Corbin.
Like 30-30.
30 would be a tall task for home runs. So
he can do it.
Get 30 steals.
He has
the second half. He's got it.
Yeah. All right. Let's head on to awards. See if this will load here. Nice. It will not. We got a promotion for FanDuel. We're not.
Oh, good job.
So
they probably think you're in New York like me. You can't bet awards.
See if we can move on here. See if I can change my screen to this. We'll just share this tab instead until I figure that out. But all right, awards. Nate, what do we like here for the awards?
Do we want to start with AL or NL?
We will start with. Let me see if I can pull anything up here. Let's start with the AL like we did last time.
Do you want to do MVP first or start with Rookie of the Year?
All right, I got it all pulled up now. Let's start with MVP.
I'm going to be different. I'm not taking Judge. I'm going with the guy who I've been wanting to win MVP for a very long time now. I think he's one of the most. I mean, he's underrated in the aspect of he never gets the respect I think he's deserved. He's not even in that 4 I can see. I have Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians.
Wow.
I have J-Ram.
J-Ram.
He's projected plus 2,200. Very good player.
If Judge has won it, but just off home runs, I know this is chalk, but I'm going Bobby Witt. I think you have another chance for a Gunnar Henderson. I think Mike Trout being this high is literally just a scam. For you're a squid if you're taking Mike Trout, but I think it's a 3-man race up here with Bobby Witt, Aaron Judge, and Gunnar Henderson. I'm going to go with Bobby Witt. I just think he does so much and he's so explosive. Judge would have to stay perfectly healthy and hit 50 home runs again if he wants to win the MVP, because I don't think his team's going to do it without Soto wins wise to do it. But that's just me. Mike, what do you think here?
I'm going to go with a little bit more value. I'm going to go Yordan Alvarez plus 1,600.
That's
he's still up there, but I think Yordan, I honestly think he's, when healthy, I think he's honestly the best hitter on the planet. Ohtani, obviously there was that stigma about DHs winning MVP. Ohtani did it last year, obviously had the steals, but I think you remove some of that, you kind of show more love to like the pure hitting. And I think, that continues. You get Yordan in the AL.
So is there a reality where Yordan's the home run champion? Has more home runs
I can
than
see
Judge?
that, absolutely. Yeah, I can see that.
I want to add this about J-Ram really quick. This is why I'm picking him. He's been a constant top 10 MVP finisher. I think he's been top 3 multiple times. I think last year as well. He always ends up finishing 3rd behind the Yankees pair of Soto, Judge, probably this year as well. But I'm picking him just because of this. Last year, he was 1 home run and 1 double away from a 40-40-40 season. Went very under the radar. He can steal. He can hit for power. He's by far the best player, I would say, on the Cleveland Guardians. He's going to be an all-star. So I like the value, honestly, of Jose Ramirez being plus 2,200. I'm kind of shocked they have him below Mike Trout and Julio. I always hype up so much, and then last year he didn't do it for me.
Mike Trout is wild. Like
I can't believe it's as high.
But because of who he's playing for.
Yeah. I mean, they would need I can't believe Lawrence Butler has odds as well over anyone else.
Lawrence Butler's solid.
I do love me some Lawrence Butler.
All right, let's go on
there too.
All right, NL MVP. I think this is a lock. I mean, the Shohei at plus 145 is crazy for MVP odds. I'm gonna try and not do it. I know we talked about it a little bit before. You can lean Bryce Harper. I think I like that from Bryce Harper. But that's the only way that happens is with an injury from Shohei Ohtani. If he comes back and he pitches and has any sort of the year hitting wise that he had, this guy's going to win MVP every year. He's healthy for the rest of his career. He's going to, I mean, this is I think it's insane. Tatis being this high, I don't love. Kyle Tucker is crazy. Acuna is decent if they pop off, but I think Shohei has to be the right answer. And I know I've kind of gone with chalk the last 2 times on the top guys, but man, no one is even in the same realm as this dude right now, and not even in baseball, but in sports.
Yeah, I've always been a believer that like as long as Ohtani pitches like and is decent, I've always just been like a fan of saying that like that's just the MVP. But
100%.
that being said, I think this is a really good year for Soto to take it. Ohtani, I think I saw like last week or like yesterday, he's like throwing his for the first time in like a month, like next week or something. Like I don't think people truly realize how little he's gonna pitch. Like I don't think he's gonna pitch until like the summer, and then he's probably gonna be very limited.
Okay.
So I think that opens up like the window a little bit there for Soto, that like if he's just the best hitter, which is a very real possibility, I think he could take it.
Yeah. And we also talked about Corbin Carroll a little bit on when we talked about the Diamondbacks, but Nate, what do you think here?
Until Shohei gives me a reason not to pick him, I'm picking Shohei Ohtani. Like he's going for 3 MVPs in a row. It'll be his 4th MVP. He was just 50-50 last year. I mean, Danny knows I'm a big Shohei Ohtani fan, but like honestly, like until he gives me a reason not to pick him, I don't see any other way. I get Juan Soto's hype. I honestly could see Tatis, Harper, or Betts having a great year too.
Sure.
But Shohei Ohtani, like the only way I could see him maybe falling off is if they watch him pitch and it's not as good as what it's been in the past. Maybe they just deduct points for that. But Ohtani went 50-50 last year. I'm riding with Ohtani.
What about Paul Skeens?
I don't think Mookie has much chance though with that lost weight. I think he might struggle out the gate.
Yeah, Mookie. What's he down to, like 150 pounds now? He can't keep food. He hasn't finished a meal since before they went to Japan, they said. All right, well that is the MVPs. Cy Young, American League Cy Young. When's the last time that someone won back-to-back Cy Youngs? Do we know? DeGrom?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a possibility for Tariq Skubal?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the Cy Young is always just such a toss-up. It's just random for me. So I literally have no clue who's going to go Cy Young. I don't want to take Skubal just because I've gone with the top guys the last few times. But I want to hear what you guys have to say, Mike.
I'm going to show a little bit of bias here. I got to show some love to Jacob DeGrom.
Okay.
He came back last year, 10 innings. He pretty much still graded out like the same, like analytically and everything. I still think he's going to be really good. The fair question would be, will he throw enough innings? The answer is probably not, but you get him at plus 1,400. If he's the best pitcher for 150 innings or something, it's close. So I don't know. I mean, realistically, the answer is probably like Crochet or something, but I got to show some love to the ground because I still think he's going to be really, really good.
I agree. If I had to pick one, I'd go Crochet. Nate?
Yeah. I'm riding with Crochet. I think Skubal can do it, of course. I think he's the guy that can get the back-to-back. But I actually really like Garrett Crochet at the plus 360 just because I think he's going to have a better year than what he did with the White Sox last year. And it was a really good year, by the way. He's now playing for a team that has a chance, and he's playing also to prove he's worth the contract he wants. So I am picking Garrett Crochet. Honestly, he's a big part of this Red Sox team that I think is going to be very underrated too.
Brian Wu.
He's very decent. The Mariners' rotation is nasty.
I don't think he gets enough strikeouts, but his fastball is very lethal. It gets very soft contact, but
we got a lot of
people want strikeouts.
I don't think anyone else sticks out. All right, NL. I'm going Paul Skeens. I don't care. I've never had a easy. I want Paul Skeens so bad. 1 Rookie of the Year. I love Paul Pepperman Skeens. I don't care if I don't care. Give me Paul Skeens.
I'll be quick. Paul Skeens.
I'll change it up. I'll go Blake Snell. I think when he's out there, obviously Skeens has the control on him because Blake Snell walks everybody, but Blake Snell allows the least contact out of everybody. Obviously Skeens is up there too, but he just doesn't allow hits. He always gives up runs on walking like 3 guys in an inning or something. So he's really, really good. Now he's got, not that his previous coaching stats weren't good, but like the Dodgers always have something to add to, a pitcher or whatever. So
I'll say
sneaky one could be Yamamoto, Nate.
See, my sneaky one is below Yamamoto. I was going to say 2 pitchers that I could also see winning this are Zach Wheeler. I know he's right behind Skeens. I think he's going to have a really good year, one of the best pitchers in baseball. And then, honestly, I'm happy he's back, but I don't think he's going to last long on his team. Sandy Alcantara, he already won the award once. I know opening day, Thursday, Skeens versus Alcantara. That's going to be a great matchup.
Heck of a matchup.
For pitching fans. Alcantara, of course, was hurt last year. Honestly, like, if Alcantara at least – I could see him at least getting traded this year at some point. Like I was saying, I think it was last night, I was like, if he's pitching good at least into June through 4 starts, I could just see the Marlins just pulling the trigger now and just saying, hey, you're gone, we're trading you, because they could get a haul out of Sandy Alcantara. So like if he goes to a big contender, he could pitch his butt off even more. But I do have Paul.
And since you mentioned Sandy, I'll say it. Sandy Alcantara under 5.5 hits was one of my leans on my early looks for betting on Thursday. If anybody from the Discord's listening wants a little lean, I don't know, maybe that'll be a play eventually, but throw that in there.
Hell yeah, Mike. All right, Rookie of the Year. I see, this is where my ball knowledge, I know I'm getting more into MLB as I go, but this is where I kind of blank out. There's only a few names that I recognize here, and that's Kumar Rocker and Jason Dominguez. But this is probably for you guys. I know I got Cam Smith in MLB The Show, so I really don't know. I don't know ball like this level, but I'll let you guys take over here.
I mean, there's a lot of good players on here. I mean, I really love the Red Sox duo, Christian Campbell, Roman Anthony. They got Marcelo Mayer down there somewhere too. He's in AAA for now. But I'll go, a guy that's had a really good spring training, Jacob Wilson. I think his K rate, I think he's struck out like 2 or 3 times total in like 40 at-bats in spring. He's hitting the ball too. So, I mean, I haven't, gotten too hardcore, but, not striking out, hitting the ball well. I'll go Jacob Wilson from the A's.
I like the Jacob Wilson pick. Son of former Pittsburgh Pirate Danny Jack Wilson, by the way.
Don't know him.
I'm going Jackson Jobe of the Detroit Tigers at plus 850. He got called up at the end of last year. He made the postseason roster and pitched in their bullpen. It didn't go as good as what people thought it would. But, I mean, you're throwing a rookie right into the playoffs. It probably wasn't going to go well. But, honestly, he is a big piece of what I think is going to be a big year for the Detroit Tigers. Like I said, I have them winning the division. So, I think if he pitches his butt off like he's done in the minor leagues, I think he's going to be a solid pick for Rookie of the Year.
A lot of really good rookie pitchers this year.
Yeah.
Got Kumar Rocker on there. I mean, he was
Jack
disgusting
Leiter
last year. I don't know. He's probably not going to throw a lot of innings, though. But
Kumar spent a million years in Vanderbilt. And
it's a Vandy boy, Jack Leiter, too.
Yeah.
All right.
On the same team.
NL Cy Young. Or not Cy Young. NL Rookie of the Year. What? I like Roki Sasaki here. I think the Dodgers, they get so much glaze, so much love. They're going to be on so many primetime games that Roki Sasaki is just going to have the spotlight over a guy like Dylan Cruz, who I think is decent, but it's just the team he's on. And you could say I could have said the same thing last year about Paul Skeens, but he was on a garbage team and won the award. So I'm going to go with Roki Sasaki here.
Yeah, I like Dylan Cruz. I like Roki. I mean, his stuff is filthy. But it was a little wild, on that 6 a.m. game. I think the Dodgers are just going to continue to be very careful with him. He had several injuries last year in Japan. I think it'll be really good when he pitches. I just don't know how much he'll pitch. Dylan Cruz, as long as he's healthy, should play like 160 games. So I'll go Dylan Cruz, but Roki's definitely not a bad pick.
Nate?
Yeah, I'm going Dylan Cruz as well. The Roki pick I do like, but my thing with Roki, he's younger than what Yamamoto was when he came over. And Yamamoto, we saw last year, also kind of struggled at the start. He struggled in the Korea game. Roki struggled kind of, you would say, with the walks in the Japanese game they just played. But Dylan Cruz, I said this last night with JJ when he had me on. He has, I think, a lot more to prove than a lot of these guys because this was a really hyped prospect. A lot of people had him going number 1 to Pittsburgh. His LSU teammate Paul Skeens goes to the Pirates in that draft. Cruz goes 2. Langford, another SEC rival, goes a little bit after him. The thing with Dylan Cruz, what he has to prove, he needs to prove and kind of adjust like Skeens and Langford. have done so far into the major leagues. Because Dylan Cruz last year played, I think, 32 games. He did struggle. I think he was batting like in the hundreds, I think it was. He has a lot of potential. He has all the potential in the world. Like I could see him having like a basic like 20 home run, 20 stolen base type of season. The Nationals like are in that jumbled bunch of teams. I don't think they're going to be like trash. I think they're going to be in these like NL teams, like honestly, like the Pirates, the Reds, honestly, too, the Giants. They could just cause chaos with the teams that like are the top wild card contenders because they all maybe not really as much the Giants, but they all have like a young core. They're kind of starting to build. You have James Wood and Dylan Cruz on the Nationals, for example. So that's why I'm picking Dylan Cruz. He has a lot to prove. So.
Yeah. I like that as well, Nate. Dylan Cruz. All right, that's it for awards.
I do like Bubba Chandler. I'll say that though.
Bubba Chandler, Pirates
guy. He comes up quick.
I remember when we drafted
Pirates would give him enough innings. You know,
he was supposed to be like a Shohei, right? He was supposed to be like a dual hitter when the Pirates drafted.
He was,
Chandler.
yes.
And then they just
stop.
Yeah, now he's just a pitcher now. So all right. Last thing before we just yap is who's winning the World Series? I think we can. I'll take the odds off here and just go.
Do we want to give a matchup?
A matchup?
Yeah, or do we just want to pick outright winner?
You can give a matchup if you want.
Okay.
I'll start off. I think this is the year the Phillies do it, man. I think something changes with the Dodgers drastically. Hopefully, I'm not preying on injuries or anything, but this is the year the Phillies do it. They always have the hype going into October. I'm not a Phillies fan by any means, but I like seeing them play baseball in October. They're so fun to watch, and I'm gonna go with the Phillies to win the World Series. Now against who in the AL? I think Phillies Yankees is kind of chalk, so I'm just gonna I'll go Phillies Orioles World Series. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I'll go Dodgers Red Sox. You know, Dodgers.
Wow,
chalky,
Red Sox out of the
but
AL.
You know, the thing I want to pick Baltimore, but I just don't think they want it bad enough. Like, you know, their rotation. Now, like if they got a guy like Sandy Alcantara at the trade deadline, that changes things. But you know, for right now, the rotation's just not good enough. I mean, they're starting Zach Eflin, who I like, love his control, starting on opening day. You know, they signed a Japan guy who can't strike anybody out. He's a contact guy, Sugano, 50-year-old Charlie Morton. They just signed 50-year-old Kyle Gibson. It's just a garbage rotation. I can't trust him right now.
Yeah. I literally have the exact same World Series matchup, Dodgers, Red Sox. I'm picking the Red Sox as honestly the Cinderella team of the playoffs. Like no one's expecting them to do much. I thought they had a very underrated offseason. They improved greatly from last year. Like if I'm going to spoil my winner right now, I have the Dodgers going back to back. I'm picking chalk just because their rotation is nasty. They have like Cy Young's maybe the first four guys, and maybe if you throw Ohtani in there too. Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, Tyler Glasnow, Dustin May. That's the projected starting five. And not
Dustin
to mention,
May's not going to finish the season.
Yeah,
He's always hurt.
Kershaw, Gonsolin.
Yeah, Kershaw. Like the Dodgers are a team that don't need all these guys. They like their prospects. I think it was a Pirates podcast I was listening to. They practically said it like this. Any Dodgers prospect knows they're not going to be on the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're just going to be flipped for these stars. Like, think of it this year. Who's the big name trade you could do from the White Sox? Luis Robert Jr. I know he was linked to the Dodgers last year. They could trade a pitching prospect, like just a random name. Emmett Sheehan, just first one to see. Gavin Stone, these pitching guys that they want to develop, give them to the White Sox for their star players. Like, none of these guys are going to have a chance to play for them. They'll be bullpen arms, if anything. And then they brought in the best bullpen arms available, and Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates, etc. So I'm going Dodgers.
Is there? I just don't know if there's a team that can compete with them. That's why I just don't want to see it. To be honest,
they literally have the best everything, the best lineup.
Yes.
They got the best, you know, rotation, the best bullpen. It's insane.
Now, is this the best? Is this the best baseball team that you guys have ever seen in your life? For me, yeah. Yeah, I think this is the most stacked. Maybe even you compare this to a lot of teams, but I think that this in sports, this is the most stacked bar for bar pound for pound team I've ever seen. You look at the Warriors back in like 2016, 17 when they got KD, they were stacked, but I don't think anything compares to the sheer depth of power and star power that this
team has. The only
thing
thing is that, MLB has a lot more variance than those sports. So it can go any way. Like, those championships, it was kind of easy for the Warriors.
Yeah.
Like MLB, they're going to have to win,
exactly.
5-game set. It's just a lot can happen. Injuries happen, obviously. There's probably going to be like 3 of their starters who, throw their arm out or something. Mookie's 20 pounds underweight right now.
It's all about getting hot at the right time. Like last year, the Tigers sneaked into the playoffs and won the first round over the Houston Astros. Last year, the New York Mets made a Cinderella run and almost was able to get to the World Series. Those 2 teams I did not expect to go as far as they did. Like the Mets mid-season, they weren't a playoff team, and then out of nowhere, they are in the NLCS. Just look at last year, like the year before's World Series, it was the Rangers versus D-backs. The D-backs were the 6th seed, and they went on this crazy run. Sure. They upset the Phillies, upset the Dodgers. I agree with Mike said. Anything happens in baseball. Like,
yeah.
If you get hot at the right time, it's yours.
I would love for it to be more of a toss-up, but I think it's the Dodgers are just too good to be competitive. But I'm still going to go with the Phillies, just bearing a miracle.
It's one series. Anything can happen. It's possible.
Exactly. Mike, do you have any other predictions? Anything else to give here? I know we probably got some good wagers.
Let's see.
A future or something. Feed some families.
I did look for. I've been looking on the hunt for a future in a while. Unfortunately, no future.
Sure.
But just to go back to my point earlier, I'll cover more. Sandy Alcantara under 5.5 hits. It's his first start in a year and a half off Tommy John. Probably throws 80, 85 pitches. And, it's funny. They're facing your team, it's already down. But they're facing your team, the Pirates. Yeah, so you guys already know about that.
Yeah, but we already know we're not going to get any hits.
I guess the line moved, but...
Yeah. Skeens versus Alcantara is going to be
that's going to be a great matchup.
It's going to go 15 innings of 0-0 baseball.
It's going to be a gross game to watch. A bullpen game is going to be disgusting. Pirates bullpen's miserable. It's I can't watch Colin Holderman throw a baseball anymore.
I like Holderman, former Met.
Yeah.
He had a rough second half last year though.
Remember when he gave up Skeens' no-hitter? I remember I was driving to work and I was watching it. I almost crashed my car.
Funny thing is, that was a good trade for the Pirates.
He was serviceable
for Daniel Vogelbach.
Yeah. Oh man, but That do we have anything else we want to cover here, Nate, in terms of Major League Baseball?
We're already almost an hour 20 in.
Yeah. Well, Mike,
longest episode probably of all time.
Want to thank you for coming on the show today. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. We had a crazy turnout here in the chat and viewership wise, but yeah, Mike, thanks for tuning in. We'd love to have you on another time.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. We'll do it again at some point. More MLB.
All right, we'll see you, Mike.
See you
later.
Get Mike out of here, and then we'll wrap up. But yeah, Nate, it was a good show today.
Yeah.
Another good turnout. But yeah, I think next episode it will be Tuesday.
Yeah, next Tuesday. We'll honestly I think we'll be able to talk about the Elite Eight.
Yeah,
or the Final Four. I think the Final Four will be set, right?
Yeah, should be. And then MLB will have started, so we can cover that. We might have a few games out of MLB, but yeah. That'll do it for today's episode. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. Another crazy turnout, and we'll see you guys